Our research looks at the Future Gen Powerplant, which was a proposed plant for Mattoon, and we wanted to see if there was any media framing in the local newspaper coverage of the decision-making process. So we looked at the Journal, Gazette, Times Courier, which is our local newspaper here in Mattoon and Charleston, and we classified the coverage of Future Gen into 4 categories: politics-based decision-making process, state and local development, and energy innovation, and then a 4th category for articles that didn't fall into any of those categories.
What media framing theory and research is interested to what extent information is presented with a particular pattern of maybe slant, or whether it's a particular direction or a particular pattern of emphasis as it's communicated to the public. What is covered in the media does make a difference. That the average person, as they read the newspaper, as they follow television coverage, as they follow radio-based coverage, or whatever the source might be, that it's not just information, it's just landing out there and nothing happens with it. That the assumption is that that information becomes part of the political process, and also relative to what we're interested in, the policy-making process.
Initially, we found that the newspaper was very supportive of the benefits to the community that this project would have for Mattoon and for Coles County as a whole. And they reported a lot on the economic benefits and the indirect benefits to the community. After the project was pulled from Mattoon under the Bush administration, we found that the newspaper took quite a negative stance towards the bureaucratic decision-making process that was happening, and they remained supportive of Coles County as a whole. They remained supportive of the fact that Coles County is the best location for this plant, but they took an attacking stance towards the Bush administration and the politics that were involved in that process. In the run-up to the 2008 election, the newspaper began to get a lot more supportive that Illinois would get this project back and that Mattoon would eventually be the host site for the Future Gen Powerplant. And after the November 2nd election and Obama's election, there was just such optimism that Mattoon would receive this project, and so there was a big newspaper shift in the coverage of the reporting. When the project was severed and the power plant was separated from the carbon sequestration plant, the decision was made for Western Illinois to host the power plant and for the carbon to be piped into Mattoon, where Mattoon would host the gas sequestration. And the newspaper reported quite negatively about this. They were looking forward to the benefits, obviously, of hosting both, and so this was another shift in the coverage of the reporting that we saw.
It can be a tricky process in trying to infer meaning when it comes to different types of communications. And I felt very comfortable in seeking his advice and input. And he was just a great graduate student to work with, and we continue to work with this because we are continuing to take this project to the next stages, because we hope to have future paper presentation opportunities and hope ultimately to have some sort of publication that comes out of this.